Hi, Nikki.
Hello, how are you, Kat?
I'm doing really good. Before we jump in, I'm going to quickly introduce my company. On top will be Hannah, and on the bottom is Krista.
Hi, ladies.
Well, again, thank you for trying to fit in a podcast appearance on the Cat Chat podcast. I know the last couple of months have been crazy because both you and I are moms dealing with kids, dealing with appointments, dealing with travel. So I really appreciate you taking your time out of your travel and vacation to be on the Cat Chat.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your patience. It has been a super busy, year so far, which knock on wood is great. A lot of blessings, but yes, a lot of scheduling stuff. I'm actually in Georgia on the farm visiting my family, so I keep checking my internet to make sure. I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere. So if for some reason my internet goes out, it'll just reload and put us back on.
I love the new sharp hairdo. I saw pictures of the haircut on the floor. I was like, oh no, how should the Nikki go? Absolutely love it.
10, thank you so much. I mean, it was down to here, so I chopped this
My
much off.
goodness.
It's the shortest my hair has ever been. But like, you know, it's hair, it'll grow back. I like to have fun with my hair. It's kind of like, it's sometimes it's like out with the old, in with the new. There's some cultures actually that believe that we hold trauma and all of our emotions we hold in our hair. And so in some of those cultures, when women have been through hard things, you cut the hair off and it's like starting anew and you're letting go of the past. And so I just love thinking about that, of just like letting go of any negative stuff and just like starting from scratch.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I got my haircut. Like maybe that master something I'm trying so hard to grow it, but it's not working. Nothing works. Shampoo or whatever it is. I think I get so stressed too easy. Again, it's summertime. I need to chop it off, put myself to really down more. So let's see what happens.
Good luck. Lots of protein. Lots and lots of protein if you want to grow your hair.
Definitely, definitely. Anyway, want to talk about how I want to say your movie, one of the first movies that made me go into the Hallmark horror was
Oh,
Love
wow.
Takes Flight. That movie, I
Yes.
was just like, oh my gosh, I love her. And the connection you have with Jack, and that
Mm.
was just the beginning. And then along with every Hallmark movie, your movie, Lady Shepherd movie, you name it, Andrew Walker movie, Benjamin Airy movie, anybody. So I fell in. There's a couple of movies that really impact and talk about real life situation. Taking the reins, I could really go back and just relate with you and feel all kinds of emotion with you because read some articles and read some podcasts, and that was the movie that literally shook you up and a part of you just became missing. So I just wanted to say that movie was really a lot and a lot of family dynamic, and you were dealing with your own demons about losing your dad. So I really appreciate you being strong and just push forward. And I know you had an amazing cast for that movie to support you into finishing that film.
Thank you for saying that. People often ask, what are my favorite Hallmark movies that I've done? And Taking the Reins is up in always in the top 3 for many reasons. Number one, I had produced for Hallmark before and developed movies for them before, but it was the first one that I got to do with my writing and producing partner slash best friend, Megan McNulty. We developed and produced Taking the Reins. We also did the last draft of writing. We basically kind of had to do a page 1 rewrite from start to finish because we wanted not just for the movie to be good, in order to get Corbin, who played my dad, and Scott Porter, who played my love interest. You know, Corbin initially passed on the script, and I never give up. I wanted Corbin to play my dad. I have been obsessed with his work. He's a phenomenal actor. And also the way that he presents himself, that tough guy, that, you know, never show your vulnerability. We needed that guy, which is a typical Hallmark father. And so I really, really, really wanted him and knew he would bring all of that to this character. So Megan and I rewrote the script. We sent him the rewrite, and then he agreed to do it. He was like, I don't know what you guys did from the last draft to this draft, but I'm in. I want to do this movie. And we were so happy because what we essentially did is we wrote for him. We gave him something to chew on. And we had about 5 days to rewrite that script and get it to Corbin and get it to Scott to be able to get them on board to say yes. And so we were doing all of that while I was on the East Coast so that I could be as near to my dad to be able to see him every day as possible. So in the midst of producing, writing, and about to go star in this movie, my dad is in the last, weeks and months of his, or I was hoping months, but weeks of his life. And I almost tried to back out at one point in time, and I couldn't, right? I was producing it, I was writing it, I was starring in it, and I knew my dad would want me to go do it. And so it was hard. It was really hard because every day I was going to set, wondering if today was going to be the day that I was going to get the call, right? That it was the end and I needed to go be with my dad because I just wanted to be there with him for those when he did pass so that he knew that he was surrounded by love. And I'm so glad I was. I'll tell you the story about that in just a little bit, but hi baby. But I was so lucky because I was surrounded by just the best people. Thank you, buddy. I had my partner, my best friend there, Megan, who played Amanda Carter in the movie. So I had my best friend there, my support system. And then I had the best director, Claire Niederpruin, who is such an incredible director and also such an incredible human. I tell her all the time, like I would pick up trash on your set. Like if you called me and was like, Nikki, I need you to come pick up trash, I would do that. Like she's just the best. And Scott and Corbin, Eliza, who played my sister, I was surrounded by these incredible human beings. And the only person who knew what I was going through was Megan. I didn't tell anybody what was going on in my life because I was trying to be a leader on set and just make sure that everybody else was taken care of. I do feel like it's part of your job as the number one on a set is to set a tone for how everything is going to be. And it's not just about me, it's making sure that our crew is happy, making sure that our cast is happy, making sure that everybody is taken care of. So I didn't want to bring my personal stuff into it, which made it sometimes even harder, to be honest, because on those days where I was really, really, really struggling, um, you know, I felt very, very alone in that pain. Um, but we wrapped the movie at 4:30 in the morning. I got back to the house about 5, got to bed about 5:30 in the morning, and I, couldn't sleep. So I ended up waking up to a bevy of texts and calls from my mother. And I knew right away that this was it. And so I rushed to get on a plane, and out of Boston, Connecticut, JFK, Newark, there was only one flight, one seat available, and it was out of JFK. And so I quickly threw all my stuff in a suitcase. My husband drove me to JFK. I got on the airplane and I was able to get by my dad's side. But I'm so proud of that movie, because not only did it turn out so well, I actually rewatched it with my family not that long ago. And I was like, this is such a good movie. Like, I was like, we did such a good job. I was so proud of it. But I was also proud of how I was able to get through it with as much grace as I possibly could. Yeah. So thank you for saying that. That movie means a lot to me.
Yeah, no problem. And I agree with you. Corbin did an amazing job as your father in that movie. So stubborn, so no, I'm not giving up. And you kept pushing and pushing. So that's a very good dynamic between father and daughter. And I watched that movie a handful of times because I wanted to feel that was there. And I wanted to feel she went through all of it, and she kept going, and just got the movie made for everybody out in the world to watch. So, and I was trying to figure out, like, okay, this is the moment that she found out, or this is the moment that things are not going well. Try to, it was just amazing movie. So that year was one of probably my top 5 favorite movies, because I was like, any movie of yours is probably in the top 5, honestly, every year.
Oh, thank you, Kat. That means so much to me. Thank you so much.
Uh,
Thank you.
let's talk about, okay, one of the other favorites I really like about Hallmark and trying to branch out and getting actors and actresses with a kind of disability, like different home appearing, Down syndrome, autistic, anything. So, World Record Christmas. I did not see the preview. I saw the poster. I was like, that's it. That's the movie. That's gonna be the top 5 movies. And another thing, you and Lucas work really well as parents, and I could definitely relate with you because I myself, especially need mom of 2 kids right now. One was critically diagnosed last week, but after that, so she's like relate with that. Just, wow, I mean, Nikki in real life have 2 beautiful kids and an amazing husband, and she's making movies that are meant to be and try to spread out the awareness of what kind of people, including children, with whatever disability can do it. They can act, they can do things, they can be normal on the outside, but not on the inside. So that was another one of the movies that really did have an impact on me. And I'm sure that other
Mm.
people out there too.
Listen, that movie, World Record Christmas, was so also special to me, you know, because I do really do feel like representation is so important. And truthfully, the stories that we tell, I always say in our industry, we are not brain surgeons. We are not doctors or firefighters or nurses. Like, we're not saving lives, but we are telling stories that matter, that make people feel like they are not alone, that make people feel like, one second, you guys. Hi, buddy. Mommy's doing an interview. No, baby, you cannot go in the pool because nobody's there to watch you because mama's doing an interview, okay? Not right now, sweetheart. Thank you, though. So, you know, but the stories that we tell matter because they make people feel like they're not alone in the world. They make people feel seen. They make people feel known. And I think all we're trying to do in this journey of life, really and truly, is we're just wanting and desiring to be seen and to be known for who we really are, without having to perform to belong, without having to change who we are to belong, to be anybody else, without having to do any of that. We're just wanting to be accepted for who we are. And so when World Record Christmas came across my computer, first I've got to applaud, Angie, who was our executive that developed that script at Hallmark. I think she just did such a beautiful job with the story and taking Alden's story, who is the real life kid that this was based on, and turning it into something so beautiful. We worked really hard because, I have two kids that, as people know, my youngest has gone through 3 heart surgeries, and we have, I can't even count how many doctors, and even this year, how many doctors visits we've had, how many times we've been at CHLA, but then my oldest, we still go through a lot. He's neurodiverse. So we've had behavioral therapists and occupational therapists and like all the bevy of things. And so I get it. And it was really important to me to really sit down, with Lucas and sit down with the director and look at the language and make sure that, my child who AIS played so beautiful. How amazing was he as an actor? I mean, he was just, I could not have asked for a better, work partner. He was just so present and so one of the best actors I've had the honor of working with. But we wanted to make sure that it told the story that that his character wasn't a challenge to overcome, that what he was going through was not a challenge that he would one day overcome, but instead it was what made him special and unique and who he was. And that was something that we could all in society learn from, right? Because I know with my own children, it's really important for me as their mother, like when my son comes to me and tells me about how he's struggling in school because of all of his neurodiversity, and he sits down with me and says, Mom, why am I different? Why am I not like the other kids? And it's so important for me to help him understand that, like, buddy, there is nothing wrong with you. In fact, the way that your brain is wired, you're that kind of kid that one day is going to grow up and you're going to come out, create some new medication that's going to save lives or create some kind of environmental thing that's going to help the environment, or, the way that you think is so unique and special. We need your brain just as much as we need everybody's brain. We need what you bring to this world just as much as we need what everybody brings something different. So that movie meant a lot to me as a mother who goes through that with my own children. And the way that we told it and the way that we brought those characters to life, I really wanted to honor Alden, the real life Alden, and also all children out there and all people out there that are, that are really looking to be seen for who they are,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I'm curious, how did the cast of that movie Because I know some different kids with different challenges or disability or I don't want to say limit, but however the cat and the director was able to like go along with the movie, like, okay, we're gonna do this today, and then we're gonna do the hard part tomorrow to make it easier for Aiden because he's autistic, and I know a lot of people try to support him, not just giving it all at once, because once he's overstimulated, things could fall apart, or he try to do things to make
Yeah.
it work.
We had such an incredible director in Jason Burke, and he was so cognizant of AIS's schedule and making sure that we never overloaded him with too much in one day. With that being said, there's also rules for how long you can work children, right? And so, we were all very cognizant of that. And we were also all very cognizant of being in communication with AIS. He is a brilliant, talented, incredible kid who is so honest and so amazing. He was so easy to just sit down with and say, "Hey, AIs, how do you feel about this?" And he would just be so honest. And so it was such a team collaboration, that whole entire movie from start to finish. And we had such beautiful, tender conversations around not just all the scenes, but how we're doing each scene and how we're moving forward. And, AIS also had an amazing mom, like his family was incredible. And so we were just very fortunate. It's kind of one of those, I was telling Samantha de Pippo, who was the one who, her and Angie wanted me to do this movie. And I was just saying to her, I felt so much joy in this movie from start to finish. All of us knew that it was important. And all of us knew that we were telling a story that was really special. And so, with that being said, there was joy from start to finish. We had so much fun. Um, and I think that when you're working with kids, it's really important, because I was a kid actor. I started when I was like 7 years old. And so on the Mickey Mouse Club, the one thing that the adults always did was they
Way back,
just kept
Mickey
it
Mouse
fun.
Club.
Yeah, they just kept it fun. It was fun all the time. And so I remember that from being a child who was in this business, and just remembering that for other kids, when I'm working with them, we just have to keep it fun for them, because it needs not to feel like a job, and instead feel like this awesome hobby that they get to do, that is just a lot of fun. So it was I call it an embarrassment of riches on that movie, because the stars just aligned in such a perfect way.
That's awesome. Again, it was a very beautiful movie, and I just really like how the family dynamic changed when something comes up with their kid and how they were able, okay, we're gonna work together, we're gonna help him, we're gonna make them work, and not just like when you could just give up, okay, I don't know what to do with this kid, So there was a lot of good
Hmm.
and a lot of beautiful emotional moments in that movie, like the library. I broke
Oh,
down at that library part. I was like, oh, honey, the book is not about you, sweetie. It's about people who had it, not just about you. I was trying to like reach out to the TV. Lucas handled it perfectly. And the end with the share about returns for dad. I was like, okay, I need to stop watching that movie right now.
oh,
That was just
I know. I know. That's the other, by the way, Lucas Bryant is a tremendous human being and such a good actor. I loved working with him. He's so grounded and present and real. And I think that was really important. We had a conversation about the tone of the movie. While we keep it joyful and we keep it happy, it's so important to stay so grounded and real in these moments, because sometimes, and when we have a tendency in these in some of these movies to play at something, to play at love, or to play at parenting, or to play at, and I just feel like we do such a disservice to the characters and to the story and also to the audience when we don't anchor it in something real, because these are stories that people are experiencing in their everyday lives, especially something like this, or grief, like with A Gift of Peace, or with 5 More Minutes, or so
Yeah.
Lucas and I had a conversation about the tone that we were bringing into this. And we were like, yes, we have to keep it, the spirits up so that the movie doesn't feel slow, that it doesn't feel sad. So we have to keep that hope and those spirits up, but also at the same time, be so real and so grounded. And he was just pitch perfect. He was perfect in that movie. And also, I will say, I am so proud of Hallmark and our executives, especially Angie and Samantha, because they didn't shy away from reserved for dad and the dad not showing up. Because, I know from my work at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, and, the number one thing that can divorce parents is some type of challenge with their children, right? Whether it's heart defect, autism, and God forbid, loss, like that is one of the first things that will cause parents to separate and to divorce. And sometimes, you know, I have been in that situation with my husband on our second heart surgery, where my husband was like, I can't handle this. I can't see this. I can't see him in this much pain. I can't do this. Fortunately for me, he only had to step away for a short amount of time before he was able to recollect himself and come back and be like, listen, I'm so sorry. I freaked out. I'm here, but I've seen it. I've witnessed it personally, and so I'm so proud of them for sticking with that storyline and not trying to, you know, back in the day, years and years ago, and in the Hallmark world, we would soften all the hard edges, to not make it too emotional or too sad or too hard. And I think we have to show humanity what humanity looks like. And still, inside of those valleys that can sometimes be hard and dark, show that there is hope, that if we come together and we love harder and we have faith, we can get through it. And so I really think as a network, they've grown so much. And I give so much of that credit to Samantha DePippo and to our executives who are working so hard to tell those stories.
Definitely. And your other movies, I'm trying to think. Like you said, Gift of Peace, 5 More Minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
5 More Minutes. I can relate with that because I just lost my grandmother 3 years ago, and it was
Mm,
really hard. I mean, she was like my rock. She was like my number one support in the entire family without judging or without, I can't, why did you do that? Or she would just like sit and listen. So I understand how to relate with that movie. If we had just 5 more minutes with that one person, what would it be? So obviously for you, I'm sure it's your dad. For me, it would be my grandmother. So again, I appreciate how Hallmark and everybody who work in the Hallmark world somewhat make realistic movies. I mean, everything is real, but everything is not so happy, so easy. So, oh, this is not a child. Oh, we're gonna be going like this. Like you said, the few bumps in the road, bumps in the challenge, happy, sad, grief, all of that. then maybe
Totally.
go on to the end of the movie or be happy or carry on to another part of a movie, like another movie different, like with Caterer, which we will talk about in a moment.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, 5 More Minutes was a really hard movie to make. I had lost my dad 5 weeks before I went to do that movie. Not even 5 weeks. I actually received the script and the offer from Hallmark 2 days after my dad died. So we hadn't even, oh, it was actually the night of the funeral that the script came in. And so it was I read the script and was like, I cannot do this. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And then I just could feel the tapping on the shoulder of my dad again, and him saying, if anybody can do this, you can do it. You've done a lot of hard things, so you know, you can do this, and you should go do this because there's something here for you to learn yourself. And I mean, I spent the first 10 days of that movie crying in my hotel room all night long until I cried myself to sleep. I probably got 2 to 3 hours of sleep every single night for the first 10 days, which was really hard, if
Yeah,
you can
good.
imagine.
Watch the other
But the,
podcast with Stella and Julie. So I learned a bit about that movie, like how hard it was for you to do it. And at first you didn't want to do it because, you just got home from, burying your dad and saying goodbye. So it was just really, I was like, wow.
well, yeah, but the thing is, Kat, as you said, and I'm so sorry about your grandmother. I'm so sorry. The thing about grief that I say is it will never not hurt, ever. It will never not hurt. It doesn't matter how much time. I mean, we're coming up on the 3-year anniversary of my dad's passing this July, and I'm still in shock. I still have not processed that he's not here, you know? And so grief is something that will touch everybody. We will all lose people that we love. And it's something that it's universal. And so I was honored to be able to tell a story that was about grief, but that also would bring hope to people when they were in their darkest valley of grief, that they really don't ever leave us. And I do believe that, as hard as it is, and it is so hard not to physically have them with you. Like I'm here on the farm, on my family's farm, where every nook and cranny of this house and my hometown all contains memories of my dad, you know? Um, and so every day I'm reminded of all of that. And the beauty of that is that it makes me feel even closer to him. The hard part of that is that it's a constant reminder that he's no longer with us. And I just think that is the push and pull of grief always. It's holding their memory and letting their legacy. Somebody after he passed, Father Mike Mannion, who is an amazing priest in New Jersey, who has become a dear friend, he said after my dad passed, legacy is not what they leave for you, it's what they leave inside of you. And it was really helpful for me, especially a year into my grief, when I finally felt like I wasn't in quicksand anymore. Like that first year, I just felt like I was in quicksand and I was just trying to breathe. And we passed that year mark and I was like, okay, now breathe on my own again. But how do I carry on? And I remembered what Father Mike Mannion had said, and I thought, okay, my dad's legacy that he left behind was tenderness and patience and kindness and understanding and acceptance. And he was such a good father that I was like, maybe I bring my dad into the way that I parent my kids, the way that I am with other people. So really allowing, Father Mike Mannion's words of it's the legacy that they leave inside of you, to really come to the surface so that I could figure out that was my way of kind of carrying my dad in my everyday life. And it really helped. It helped a lot. So for anybody listening out there who is struggling with grief, I would say maybe that's one thing to think about is like when you're thinking about how do I carry on? How do I carry on without them? Bring their legacy into you and begin to do the things that they did, live the way that they did, love the way that they did. And it does keep them alive and very much present.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, right then. Everything you said, like the emotions and make people think they're not alone and you have your own timeline of how you process your grief. Like I process my grief differently with my grandmother, with my son, with our family car crash years ago, and a family that my husband's father recently. So each grief and everything different. So some of the movies I watch, I can just like let it go, let it out, and without things will be okay. They're all with us. I mean, they're not really gone. They're just with us. So yeah, thank you for sharing and how to cope with the grief over time, whether it's a year later or 6 months or ongoing.
Or 5 years or 10 years, or yeah, it's not linear. It's chaotic and all over the place, and it's deep and it's guttural and oh, hold on, my earplug fell out. It is the most like, we've all felt all the emotions. We felt the anger and sadness and happiness and joy and jealousy and but when grief hits, like nobody's prepared for that. So that's the other thing. It's everybody's grief is different, and you have to just allow yourself without judgment to go through it. And I do mean through it, because you can't go around it, because it will catch up to you, whether it's a year or 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, it does catch up to you. So like, go through it, and go through it in your own way that works for you. And, without judgment of yourself, and without allowing anybody else's judgment to affect you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's go to my favorite topic. The curious caterer for movie theory and possibly one more. I should want to say hat off to do and Andrew Walker with all of the four movies. I mean, three movies. Great Season, Dying for Chocolate, Better than Bound, and every single movie I watch. There's a little bit of tidbit. I'm like, okay, the first movie, Gold Eagle, what are you gonna do? About me, that little banter back and forth with Andrew Walker. The second movie, she comes up with this amazing murder porn, thinking she's a detective. And the third movie, yet. So I want to talk about, like, I wanted to say the last movie, the beta, Spoiler Plan, yeah, forgot to add that.
Full plan.
Spoiler Plan, that movie was just all in my friends, all of the band, I'm sure, but I thinking about something, every movie was like, nah, to do, nothing new to the next movie, all that baby. No, the third movie, almost not there yet. So I really appreciate how I really like how the story flowed and the connection and the relationship between Goldie and Tom change or improve or become closer for each movie. So I'm very excited for the next one, whatever that will be.
July, we go to Canada to film in July, and we're doing Curious Caterer #5. And let me say thank you. It's honestly been one of the greatest joys to be able to do this series. I get to do it with one of my best friends, Andrew, my work husband. We just click. We have since day one. It's, so easy, the two of us together. And our cast on that are just delightful. And Riley, who plays Mason, JC, who plays Marla, Lachlan, who plays my ex-husband. We just have, like, they are such gems of human beings and also phenomenal actors. Again, we have an embarrassment of riches with that cast. Our casting directors, they did such a good job. And we have so much fun on that set. I mean, considering the fact that we're like dealing with murder and betrayal and all of these things, we have so much fun. And it's just really like, it doesn't even feel like work. I mean, the hours obviously are long, but it is just, it is from start to finish every single day. It just flies by because, like I said, it just doesn't even feel like work. It feels like I'm just hanging out with some of my very best friends.
Definitely. I mean, I was watching it like I watched it behind the scenes with your stories or Andrew's story. They're not really weird because they're just like goofing off, what's really going on. And I watched on another article and I watched one of my friends' podcasting. Now, I know you had some difficulty with that dress that you were wearing. They were like
Oh, girl.
100,000 pounds. I was like,
It,
how is she comfortable right now?
I don't know how these women wore these dresses. It was so heavy and it was on all day long. And I mean, you would lift the dress up, like when I take it off, you'd lift it up, and it was like over 30 pounds, the dress. And when you're having that weight on your shoulders and it was so tight, um, I mean, I would lose a feeling within about 20 minutes of wearing the dress. I would start to lose feeling in my hands and in my arms, and then my neck would be in so much pain. But listen, it was a perfect dress. And I was like, well, sometimes you just gotta suffer for fashion. I also have to give a shout out to our costume designer on that movie, Trish. She just was so extraordinary. I mean, the heavy lift that she had to not only, everybody had to have that medieval outfit. We're not doing pool right now, baby, because we're about to leave. Okay. We're going to go run our errands. Sorry, you guys. This is what happens when you travel with children. We, and she had to source the dresses. You are, baby. You're going to go on some errands. We had to source the dresses from 1 second, 1 second, 1 second.
No problem.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Um,
Right up in
she
my
had she had,
shoulder with the thin.
she had to source materials not just from Vancouver, but from overseas, from Europe. She had to have them shipped over, and then we had to get everything shipped over to Victoria on a boat. And she was fitting people from afar until we all got to Victoria. So she basically had, I mean, I was there for all of prep so she could fit me early. But everybody else in that cast, she basically had like 2 to 3 days to fit everyone and hope that those dresses and those costumes fit. So it was a very daunting task, and she just nailed it.
Yeah, I was just amazed with all of the costume design. I was like, okay, what's going on there? They're gonna do a play, or they're gonna do some kind of like a themed party. But that movie was just fantastic. I mean, again, from the person
Thank you.
that did in the movie. I'm sorry, the poster gives it
Thank you.
away. Yeah.
Thank
Other
you
than
so
that,
much.
topic I wanted to talk about and learn about and old timers was Ashley Williams and the American Heart Association, because I know those two are very dear to the life and my life too, because apparently my grandmother passed with severe dementia and Alzheimer's. So I just wanted to thank you for being an advocate and able to spread awareness for and with Alzheimer's. I watched that event, I think it was in Nashville. I couldn't go, but I saw the dancing, the fundraising, and so much support and so much awareness. So thank you for doing that with Ashley Williams and other people, because I feel like people out there need to be aware of it, because it could happen anytime at any point of your life, early, midlife, or near to the end. Don't know specific
Yes.
time frame. For the American Heart Association, I appreciate you being an advocate for all kinds of children, especially with health defect. And I did a couple of research, and I realized, I mean, we went through a lot, like with you and your husband figuring out, okay, what is the best for the child? What is the best way to continue bring it up? And I just wanted to say that's amazing. I mean, everything you do, I learn something new every single day, from articles, from the stories. So I just want
Mm.
to say thank you for being a very strong advocate, which is why I admire you so much, because there's not a lot of moms out there who don't really put in time, energy, advocating. I'm a huge advocate for kids with special needs, traumatic brain injury, autism, deafness, name it. I'm a deaf-only period teacher for the public schools, so I know a lot of
Mm.
these things.
Well, thank you for all that you do. I think, you know, uh, and thank you for everything that you said and for seeing that in me. I really appreciate it so much. And I see that in you. And I appreciate what you do in this world as well. And even this podcast of being like, we can have quote unquote disabilities, and we can also do what anybody else can do in their life. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's the thing with my youngest son. With his heart stuff, it's like, he can't have contact sports, but it's like, okay, you might not be able to play contact sports, but here's these other sports then you can play that you want to get into. Let's do it. Let's go after it. I don't want you to be a victim to your circumstance. Instead, I want you to, you know, like really become empowered by what you've been through. And then show others that you can do anything no matter what you've been through. You can rise up, you can get out there, you can follow your dreams, you can follow your heart, and also show other people, right, that they can do the same. And I believe so much in advocacy. It's the way that, you take a handful of, poop and you can spin it into gold. It's how you take the tough situations and you make them matter. And for me, it looks like giving back and being of service and being an advocate. Um, And it's so important because like the two main causes are Alzheimer's and dementia and children, the health and wellness of children, because those are the ones that have impacted me and my life so deeply. And also at the end of the day, you know, especially when it comes to children, it's shocking to me that we live in a country where they don't have free access to healthcare. You know, we have so many people who talk about, well, the children are the future. We got to protect the children, and we've got to keep the children safe. Yet they don't want to. Some of our leaders, they don't want to. It's just words. They don't actually take action. You know, because if they did take action, then children would have access to health care just like we give them and provide them at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, which is a safety net hospital. We raise the money so that we turn no child away, regardless of financial situation or insurance. You know, if they cared about children, we would have better gun laws in our country to protect our children. There are all these things that we would do differently as a country if we actually put our money and walked the talk. And so I believe so strongly in being a voice for people who can't be a voice for themselves. And our children are one of those. And Alzheimer's and dementia, people living with that are also one of those. They are not in a position to be able to advocate for themselves. And so they have to have a voice, and we are their voice. You know, so in any situation where there is need, and, you know, I'm a big person of faith, been a Christian my whole entire life. But what I believe in is not necessarily in the church. I believe in the work of Jesus Christ. And what did Jesus do every day of his life? He went towards the need. He did not care how much money you made. He didn't care about the color of your skin. He didn't care about what religion you believed in. He didn't care about any of that. His only question was, do you need my help? Can I help you? Can I be of service in your life? And so I feel like if we all kind of saw, for the most part, yes, we all go through hard things. And I'm a very lucky person. I have been able to be employed, especially with Hallmark, for a while. My husband and I, you know, we have a good house. We have our kids go to good schools. Like, we're very, very, very lucky. We put food in our belly and clothes in our backs. But we understand how lucky we are. And I think more people could stop seeing themselves as victims in this world, and instead started looking at all the blessings that they do actually have in their life, and then took that energy and said, I am so blessed. What can I do for others? How can I give back? How can I show up for other people? We would change the world. You know, so it is something that means a lot to me on so many different levels, and it will be my work for the rest of my life, and yours too. So let's do it together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with everything. I mean, I try to make a little difference in little things, you know. When my family died with the car crash, we almost lost a son. He was 4 that time. Okay. So after that, my mind was like wasting all over the place. I was like, okay, he cannot die. He cannot die because I cannot imagine my life without him. You know, all of this stuff. And as time goes on, we had a perfect children's hospital team in Jackson, Mississippi, based on children's hospital. And they were hands-on. They were working around the clock, making sure his brain and his pressure was dropping instead of going up. So I watched the numbers. I was like, going up. What does that mean? You know, I was in the hospital with my son for 73 days, the whole summer. So, and he was in coma for 5 weeks. And he had a traumatic brain injury from the car crash, multiple skull fractures, and a brain bleed. And 8 years, this coming July, no, this May was past 8 years. Now he's in 7th grade. horse therapy lesson, swim lesson, taekwondo, high weight yellow belt. Had hardly period lost partial hearing from the impact. I look at him every day and I'm just like, wow.
You're a
King
miracle.
Switzerland. I mean, your son, Bennet, first heart surgery was when he was a baby, right? And King are so strong. King are so resilient. People don't even see that. I mean, there was some times I would say, should have been me, should not have been him, should have been me. But if it was me, would things be different? So that moment I don't advocate it, but any kind of children's hospital, any State June, Children's Hospital of LA, Children's Hospital of Jackson, Mississippi, Children's Hospital of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, whatever hospital I would donate. I would do 3K, 5K, half marathons, do all of that. And same thing for us.
Thank you, Kat.
I made a huge donation last year. So I feel like I need to be more aware, more ready, because you don't do anything or say anything, not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna grow.
Yeah. 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 Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry that you went through that with your kid. That is that is so traumatic and scary. And I'm so happy that he is okay and thriving in his life. And he's so lucky to have you as a mother and to have such a strong advocate in his corner. It's incredible. It's incredible. Thank you.
Yeah. My husband and I went through that. I was trying to support him, and I was trying to take care of my daughter. So it was just like, and then when he was able to
I
come
know.
home, that ran the whole recovery at the family again, and our marriage, and sharing my undivided attention with two kids. Now my daughter's going
Oh, I
into
know.
school, and he's in the middle school. So things are changing and making progress as the year passes by.
Well, you're a strong lady. And listen, keep telling your story and keep being a voice for those who need a voice for that for themselves, and hopefully inspire more parents and more people to become advocates and to also, create change in this world. Because if there's one thing I've learned, nobody's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. And it's going to take so many of us waking up to the fact that, like, the only way we are going to change this world and make it a better place is to start from the inside out. We have to look in our own backyard. We have to look in our own hearts and search our own selves and ask ourselves, are we doing enough? Are we doing enough? And, if you can look at your life and be like, I'm doing everything that I possibly can, great. And also, like, if you're looking at your life and there's really you're not really plugged into any place, think about what pulls and tugs at your heart. Is it children? Is it Alzheimer's? Is it cancer? Is it somewhere? And plug in. I can guarantee you, I tell everybody, if you're having a sad day, a bad day, if you're depressed, if you're angry, whatever it is, go volunteer somewhere. Because I can guarantee you there is always somebody that is in a worse position and a worse situation than you are. And when you get out of your own life and get out of your own situation and you go and interact with other people going through hard things, it also lifts you up too, because you feel like you're making a difference, and it helps you. The impact is not just for that other person and their family, it's for everyone. It's for yourself and your family, and that energy just spreads out from you and from everyone. So, but it's been such a joy to sit with you, Kat, and thank you so much for taking the time. I got to go and make sure my kids aren't getting into trouble.
Say hello. Say hello to Taylor, the main man, to Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
I was wondering if
Hello, buddy. How are ya? What's that?
I was wondering if you had a couple.
What did he say?
What
was
did you think?
A couple of what?
spare a minute because I was wondering if I could talk to you a little.
Oh, what did you want to ask me?
Mm.
Well, my mom told me how your kid have a heart thing, and I know how it's tough, but stuff happens. You can't control it. You
Yeah.
just gotta live with it. And like
Yeah.
you gotta like get used to it and make room for it. Don't try to throw it away. Make room for it. By the
I
way,
mean,
No,
have a good day, Nikki.
he's a 310 with a big heart.
you are such a phenomenal kid. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. What an incredible kid you are. Keep doing everything you're doing, buddy. You are going to change so many lives.
I can ride horses.
Oh. Well done, Kat. Well done. Well done, Kat.
Last question, Nikki. Last question. If you can't share, that's okay. Are we getting a Christmas movie from you this year?
I'm still waiting to hear from Hallmark about a Christmas movie. So hopefully, yeah, I mean, I would obviously be really sad if I didn't get asked to do one this year. So fingers crossed.
Hopefully, okay. I'm gonna let you go. I really appreciate your time today for coming on the Cast Chat podcast.
Thank you so much, Kat, and thank you both so much for being here to help with our conversation. I appreciate it, and you're amazing, Kat. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, Nikki. Take care.
You too. Bye.